my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sue of Bendnstretch with Sue, and today we continue on our journey through the chakras. I must say, so far, your response has been so positive and encouraging that you also have been enjoying this journey and learning more about these inner wells of energy throughout our bodies. Now, we covered today the Anahata chakra, which is the heart chakra. And this one is kind of a gateway between the lower chakras, which are our physical chakras that we've talked about over the last 3 weeks. And that would be the root chakra, which is all about our grounding to physical needs that we have. The sacral chakra, which is about our enjoyment of life and those physical needs being met. And then the solar plexus chakra, which is all about our will and our drive and how that is affected by the world around us. So the heart chakra is the love chakra, the gateway between those spiritual upper chakras that we'll be covering over the next several weeks. Now, this one is located in the upper chest. It's represented by the color green and is also represented by the air element. Now, as we've discussed with prior chakras, there are essential oils that really help to enhance and balance your chakras. So you may have those perhaps applied on your body, on physical, on your pulse points, or you could simply diffuse those particular essential oils. Ylang, Jasmine is one of them, as well as Eucalyptus can be really helpful for balancing the chakra. And as far as crystals, if you like to utilize these, the green jade is one that is associated with the chakra, as well as rose quartz. Just to name a few. I'll identify more of them for you down in the description below. So what is this chakra all about? It is about love, compassion, and that love and compassion is really for your own self as well as your connection to other beings around you. And that is why it is the beginnings of recognizing that perhaps there's a greater ability that comes through the heart that is much larger than ourselves. So it really is the beginning of maturity. That's why this can be associated with our intimacy as well as marriage and those types of relationships. And therefore, because this is a more mature awakening through this particular chakra, it really allows you to move up through the ladder of chakras. So if you think of starting from the bottom with the physical and moving up, connecting with this chakra and balancing it allows you to heal from hurts that may have occurred through your life, and really allowing you to open up and to really flourish through this chakra in order to be more capable of love and of compassion, not only for yourself, but for others around you, and to really develop and grow those relationships as well. Therefore, what happens when your heart chakra is out of balance? That can translate to some very negative emotion about yourself, which may spin off into negative self-talk and very harsh self-criticism. It can also be demonstrated by an unforgiving nature toward others as well as yourself, and as well as a neediness in relationships. So a real fear of abandonment and maybe even of being alone. emotional pain, and as well as indecisiveness can result from this particular chakra being out of balance. Lack of compassion. So really all the things to do with kind of opposite to a loving nature, whether that is towards others and towards yourself. That commandment of love your neighbor as yourself really begins with self-love. When your heart chakra is in balance, you will feel the surge of positive energy this creates by motivating you, by just being more loving towards yourself and others, resulting in more patience, more compassion, more desire to be around others, and really feeling an inner joy from that time spent either with yourself, within yourself, or even around other people. It just increases your patience and springs out the positive in you. So it really is a journey that you want to let yourself explore so that you can transform your being into one that is just such a positive light throughout the world. Now, as we move on to our physical practicing to open the heart chakra, to balance it, we move on to our yoga poses, and we begin with a yawn pose. And that is a more active pose. It's not held quite as long, and then we'll progress onto the yin pose, which is held for a longer period of time. In both instances, they are about opening physically this heart area and creating a back bend, which is very energizing. Now I have here a few props that can be utilized. I have some blocks, a bolster that could also be substituted for a couple of cushions or pillows, and I have a blanket that can be used for either cushion or just easing yourself into the pose. Now, as we move on, there's also affirmations that I've mentioned that can be used, and I will incorporate those as we move into the practice. But first, moving into either a Sphinx position, which would be the most conservative one for you to settle into. And I'm just going to move my props out of the way here so that you can see my feet as I stretch out through the tops of the feet, stack the shoulders over top of the elbows, and extend the forearms. So this one can be used in both a yang and a yin practice. You can remain here. You may take the legs a little wider apart to make it more comfortable so there's not quite as much compression in the lower back. You could also take your forearms further forward, and it's really about letting those shoulders really feel like they're sliding away from your ears, as well as the shoulder blades sliding down toward your sacrum. Now, remaining here or taking the hands just underneath the shoulders to create some opening, deeper opening as we move into an upward facing dog. So remaining here for approximately 10 counts. So allowing yourself to feel open, heavy through the pelvis, softening through the face, the elbows at any point. If it's too much, you can always come down to your Sphinx or into even a more gentle cobra. So let's take one more breath here. And then gently release the knees to your mat and press back to bring us some balance into that back area. From here, let's get ready to move on to our yin pose. Now, as we move on to the next pose, which will be held for a longer period of time, because of this, it's really helpful to use props when we're in a yin practice. They're particularly for any back bending, it makes it much easier to get more comfortable into them. So the first option that I'm going to provide you with here is using a blanket and simply rolling up that blanket lengthways so that it is fairly long, maybe about the length of your spine. Maybe a little shorter would be fine. You could use a towel as well. But you can see it's a relatively small roll that I have here, which for more beginner practitioners may be a better option. What you would do is lay that blanket down the middle of your mat in order to allow your spine to rest over top of it. So that's option number one. Option number two is to go ahead and use those blocks that I mentioned before. And you could use one, centering it right between the shoulder blades. So you've got some support of the shoulder blades, the spine, to help you to ease into back bend. Perhaps from there your head is able to release onto the floor. Just quickly demonstrate here as I position this right at the base of my rib cage and between the shoulder blades, allowing the head to come right back to the floor. Now that may not feel very comfortable if you have quite a bit of rigidity, tightness in the neck and the upper back. You may want to use your block to give you that extra support, or again, use a cushion, or if you're using the blanket, you'll have that neutral alignment all the way through. And last but not least, I have my bolster, which is maybe a little bit larger than the blocks as far as height. And this can be probably this or pillows, cushions is going to be the most comfortable option for you as you bring that bolster down toward the lower back. Again, you're going to adjust depending on your level of flexibility. If you're less flexible, you're going to move it away from you a little bit more so that it then decreases that angle in the lower back area. So as we recline back, we allow the heart to open. So whichever option you chose, you can bring those arms out wide. Again, if you are quite tight, you're going to bring those hands a little bit closer to your hips. And the more open you are, or working on opening through that heart even more so that it is much more of a balancing effect, you bring those arms nice and wide. You can close the eyes here as we remain here for extra length of time. Anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes is really good, even 2 if you're just starting. And we can visualize that green disc of energy spinning as we meditate on this heart chakra. You can even visualize the whole heart area here being filled with this spinning green disc that really allows you to remain attentive to how your body's responding to this balancing exercise. The affirmations that you can use here are really about love, about gratitude. I am grateful for what I have in my life. It could be a really empowering option for you to use. Powerful affirmation. I'm grateful for what I had in my life. Perhaps breathing in to the words I am, breathing out grateful, and just repeating that. I love and accept myself and others around me for who they are and who I am. If you are struggling with forgiveness, this too will be affected through the heart chakra. So you may be breathing in, I, breathing out, forgive. Or I forgive and let go. I forgive and release. love, God or source, whoever, whatever energetic power you resonate with. Feeling that greater sense of connection. Sometimes you find an affirmation that it feels powerful to you. I invite you to linger and to resonate there. Using the exhales to allow further physical release, a melting away of these burdens that you hold on to, that you really don't need to hold on to. You can face them, address them, let them go. Freeing yourself so that you can be more loving, more compassionate. First, to yourself. So as we begin to make our way back, you can slowly bring yourself to life here. Gently walking the feet in towards you as you bend the knees. You can bring one elbow to a little closer to support yourself as you roll onto that forearm, moving away from your bolster. From there, you can move it out of the way, move your blocks out of the way, your blanket, bring the knees into the body, giving yourself a really nice big hug as you massage out your back. Bring the nose to your knees for a little bit of rounding. Once again, creating that balance, either rolling through your side or through the center as we bring our time together today to a close once again. So with that, I hope that you feel more loving, more at peace, more grateful, and I am grateful for you spending this time with me today and investing it in yourself and your wellness. I hope you liked it. Give me one of these if you did. If you haven't subscribed already, I invite you to do that, as well as hitting that notification bell so you know when I upload new content, and you can check it out and check me out in the next video. Namaste.